Okay, so this session's looking at how to create a great quality book, because it's really important not only that our book gets discovered, we're able to be searched on Amazon or other platforms, and readers who are looking for a book like ours can find it. We also want them to enjoy reading it. We don't want bad reviews. We don't want messy processes to lead to revisions needed to sort out formatting or errors. So we want to have a really good book and a nice, repeatable, quality controlled process to make sure that we're running a business, not just messing around dabbling with some new books. We really want to do this like a pro from the beginning. So let me show you how the pros produce ebooks and paperbacks. But there's basically two ways of getting that content together. One is that you write it yourself. So if you've got a background in this, then it might be really appealing. And for some of you, writing your book might be something like sharing your story. It's some sort of memoir or something that you feel really passionate about and you want to share. And it's really important that that comes from your voice or your own personal experience, making it hard to outsource. That's what I've done for a couple of my books, where it's me speaking in my own voice. But the majority of my books, hundreds and hundreds versus single figures, I've had written by a ghostwriter. So the ghostwriter is a professional writer who will follow your brief, needs a bit of an outline to get going, but is really a very self-sufficient professional writer, able to do the research, able to do the first draft and take your feedback and edit as they go in order to produce a book that you can sell. And the great thing is there's so many ghostwriters out there who are very capable. It's a skill that a lot of people have if they've been, say, university educated and used to writing essays, or they've always wanted to be a writer, or they're looking to work from home. You know, there's a lot of people with good writing skills, and this is a good way for them to go freelancing. And so they love this kind of work. And it's amazing the value you get when you pay for a professional writer to do a professional job for you. There's plenty out there, and their rates, I think, are extremely reasonable. And if you're thinking about running this as a business, it really doesn't scale if you're trying to write everything yourself. So you need to own the quality control, set the direction, choose the topics, manage the writers, and obviously check that what they're doing follows the brief and is good quality. But really, I'd strongly recommend using a ghostwriter if you're planning on running this as a real business. So here are just some points. If you enjoy writing, you're always, of course, going to find writing your own book the most fun thing you ever write. But you will find it's quite time consuming and it's quite high energy. It's not just sitting down doing data entry or something mindless. It's if it's a book that's going to have the emotion and content that's going to keep your readers stimulated and engaged, it's going to take a lot of energy to put that together. So if you've got expertise in that niche, then it's a good thing for you to write it yourself, or at least do a very detailed brief. When you've got that interest, it's much easier for you to do the research, to compile all the quotes or the references or the key points that you want to make. And then you can write it yourself. Now, if you try and get this book absolutely perfect, you know, you edit every last sentence and every line, it's going to take you a really long time. So what you can do is a bit of a hybrid thing. You do a really rough first draft, get the concepts, the main points out. Don't need to focus too much on beautiful prose, just get the story down. And then you can use an editor who's got skills just in polishing the text and making it read really professionally. So it's really important to make sure that somebody, not you, proofreads it towards the end. And that means you'll have a quality control step built into the process. If you've written the book yourself, it can be really hard to have those kind of fresh eyes to check it over because you've spent so much time very close to it. So that's one benefit of doing it yourself. You save a little bit of money and you can still outsource the final steps, getting that final version really neat and beautifully presented. You can also hire a ghostwriter to write the book for you. So there's various platforms that you'll have probably come across already: Upwork, Guru, or Fiverr, freelancer.com. And those agencies have lots of ghostwriters all advertising their services, and they'll have a kind of rate card showing the rate per however many 100 or 1,000 words. And they are very variable. I've had some real winners, and I've had some where they've either just not completed the job or been really slow to respond, or they said they're native English speakers, and when you see their first draft, it's clear that they're not. So The review system and the feedback and testimonials left by other clients is the best indicator of whether you're going to get quality or not. But even then, there's sometimes the odd fake profile. So what we'll teach you in the next video is how to write that job description and how to write a really clear brief and how to get a written sample that you know has been written just for you, so that there's not some third person in the background actually doing the writing behind what looks like a very professional front profile. So sometimes that happens. Somebody's got a great profile and takes on loads of work, but they're farming it out to someone else behind the scenes. So these are all the traps that can catch you out if you're new to the industry. But I really recommend ghostwriters as a way to scale up. Otherwise, you're just going to lose hours and hours just doing all the writing yourself, and then you won't have any time to do the thinking or the scaling up. So we want you to save time and focus for the more high value activities. And you'd think that writing's the most high value activity in a book business or a publishing business, but it's actually not. That's really a commodity service that you can build up a team over the next few books that you produce, keep using them, look after them, and it'll be a really valuable part of your production line. So to hire the ghostwriter, you need to give them a good outline of the content. I usually fit mine onto one page of A4 as a bunch of bullet points. So I might do an intro paragraph and just explain to the writer what the point of the book is, what the new idea is, or what the theme is. I'll give them some links to some of the other popular books on that subject so that they've got a feel for what's selling. And then I'll want to make sure it's really clear whether it should be a formal book for a business audience or more of a personal storytelling or a motivational tone, if it's sort of a self-help book. And then you really want your writer to be clear on what benefit you want to give the readers. What are the values? What are the lessons? And then you would go into the chapter outline. So there might be 10 or 12 chapters, maybe up to 20 chapters. We'll talk about word counts and page limits in another video, but I usually start my new topic books at about 25,000 words, but it could go up to 45 or 50,000 if it's a really big topic. If it's a 50,000 word book, you're often better to do 2 smaller books of 25,000 words each, and then it can be sold separately or sold together, and that's really good too. So you want to give your writers the top selling books in your niche. So you want to read these books yourselves and review the chapters, read their reviews, and also share those links with your writers. And then you can give your writer a template. So depending on whether you've got a professional freelancer who specializes in the format of books you're doing, so a Kindle ebook or a paperback or a hardback, there's particular formats that you need to have as the final file that you upload. So it makes life a lot easier if they start that document in the right format, they're using the right kind of page breaks. You don't just get a huge screed of text a few weeks later that you've then got to sort through and organize yourself, because you need things like table of contents, you need chapter breaks, and it's really important that your writer does that right from the beginning. Otherwise it's a nightmare, either a lot of your time or finding another freelancer to tidy it all up. You also need to create your author name, and the nom de plume could be completely made up, and I tend to use a different pen name for the different niches. So there's one for my self-help books, one for the business books, and sometimes they're under my own name, but usually I'll just pick a name of the gender of the voice that the book's written by. So if it's a very kind of feminine self-help type topic, or a parenting one, I would generally do a female name, and I'll just look for something kind of made up but doesn't stand out, something that's easy to spell, easy to pronounce, quite distinctive, has the right kind of feel for it. We'll show you in some of the other videos some examples of how people do that. And you also need to write an author bio. So in Author Central, which is where Amazon connects you as a writer, the author of the book, to the books that are published under that author's name, Author Central is a place where you can add a headshot and a short paragraph describing your expertise and background. So if you're a novelist, it won't matter too much about your career experience. They want to know about your lifestyle and about the other books that you've read and who enjoys them. If you're trying to sell a book about day trading or something, you're going to have to really build your credibility as an expert on this subject and why people should listen to you. And I don't really like going down the medical track. cookery books, just have a look at the kind of names that the other cookery books are written by and do a bit of a mashup of something that sort of fits in with that type of name. So don't do something really weird and wonderful, make it sort of just fit in with the style of names that are selling well. A lot of those other names will be made up pen names as well. So with book length, quality is much more important than quantity. The page number is not always a sign of quality, and there's some sneaky tricks that go on. You'll see that a lot of the professional authors and publishers will add free chapters of future books to bump up the page number limit. Excuse me. And you'll also see that font size makes a big difference. I like to do a bit of research on what the other books on that topic are selling, both their reviews but also the length of the book. So the number of pages I will use as a guide for my ghostwriters. So I want to be sort of somewhere in the lower to middle of the pack of my competition. I don't want to be writing a book twice as big as everybody else's on that topic. So really check out the competition, and it depends a lot on the niche you're in. Kindle short reads are only 15 to 90 minutes long to read, so they're very short. A paperback needs to be 24 pages minimum, and also make sure when you're doing the formatting of the covers, if it's a very short book, I've sometimes run into issues with the design of the cover for the spine. If it's not 99 pages, there isn't enough room on the spine for the printing shop to actually print the names or any words or any designs on the spine. So for short books, remember to put no design on the spine. So in summary, by the time you've produced your high quality book, it should be well written, no grammatical errors. You can run it through an app like Grammarly, or you can pay a professional proofreader. You want to read it yourself just for the flow and it making sense. A professional proofreader is looking for typos and spelling mistakes and grammatical errors, but they might not realize that it's not flowing as well. They're just looking for a technical language thing, not the actual readability of the book. So it should be easy to read. The non-fiction books need to be useful, informative, or educational. The fiction books need to be entertaining or really captivating, a real hook, a real arc to that storyline that grabs the reader's attention, with good character development, a great plot, some twist to the plot, all the stuff that we'll cover with you in the fiction training. And you really want to deliver on the promise of the book. So when you write your book description, which we'll show you in another video, you're really explaining there the benefit that the readers will get out of your book, whether it's escapism or learning or some hacks to save some time in life or some shortcut to learn something. If you've got a great book description but a really low quality book, you'll get negative reviews, and that'll be really damaging in the long run. So that concludes this training session on producing your ebooks. So whether it's a paperback or a hard copy or hardback book or an ebook, they're all going to be produced as digital files, which you then upload to other platforms, whether it's Amazon or Ingram Spark. And even giving your narrators the audio books to narrate, that needs to be a digital file as well. So we will show you in the next session how to continue taking your new book to market and getting it live and launched on the relevant platforms. So we'll see you in the next video.